Hi everyone, this is Christine Jesse of Mail Something Pretty, and I want to show you these really kind of classic looking sailboat cards. And so to look at them, you might think, oh yeah, it's a sailboat card, but there's actually quite a lot of technique in here. And so I want to break it down and show it to you how we did it. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So I used the Let's Sail stamp set and the Sailboat Builder Punch for this card, and I also used another set of dies, was the stitched rectangle dies to make this frame, which I'll show you in a second. So let me put those aside and make sure I have the right pieces for the right parts of the card. Okay. So my base is just a Night of Navy standard size, 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So it's a standard card. And then I have for the inside, I have it's just 4 by 5 1/4. So that's all kind of standard. But for the front, I already pre-cut my frame, and how I did that was. Oh, I didn't bring them all up. The stitched rectangle thinlits. Oh, they haven't been called thinlits in forever. Dies. Let's see. They are right here on the bottom of page 174. It's kind of hard to see. You get tons of them. You get 13 dies, and so I put. There's another die that fits size-wise in between, but I didn't use that one because I wanted my frame to have a little thickness to it. And so I put them together. I put washi tape on them, and then I ran on my paper. I put my paper through my machine, and then I came away with the frame. So that's one way to do it together. You could do it separate. You could cut the either the bigger one first or the smaller one first and then go back and cut another one. But I find when I'm making kind of frames that this way works best. All right, so I just wanted to show you that. And then I cut a piece of white paper like a hair smaller than this frame. You'll probably see it's just a hair smaller than the frame. And so that's what's going to go underneath for our card. All right. Let's get to the good stuff. All right, so this is one of those piercing mats that they sell, and I put just a piece of copy paper over it and just taped it on the back, and so that way it kind of absorbs all of my ink. Because if you do the ink on the pad directly, I don't really care that it gets stained, but it has like a little glossiness to it, and so it doesn't really absorb the ink, so then it will transfer onto another project. So I just think the paper works good, and you can see that this has been used lots and lots. It lasts a long time. So we're going to start with the water. Move some stuff aside, give me some more room. So I'm using Night of Navy, which is no secret is my favorite color, but I wanted it light. And so there's two ways to get a light stamp. So it's a big water stamp, and you can make stripes. You could do all sorts of things with it that have nothing to do with the sailboat. But I want it to be light, so you could ink it, stamp off, and then stamp. And so that's one way. But I didn't want to waste my ink. You know what I mean? So because then you just have to re-ink it, which is fine. But so I decided to try, and it worked. I think these are called artist sponges, and then they're back of the catalog. And at first I just held it with my hand, and my hand got all inky. So then I decided to put a binder clip on here, and this seems to work. So I'm just holding the sponge with the binder clip and just kind of dabbing it in my ink, and then inking my stamp this way. Now it's hard to see that there's ink on there, but there is, but it's light. So I'm going to kind of, not quite on the bottom, but closer on the bottom. So you see how much, well, that's even lighter than that one, but do you see how light it is compared to if I did a full force? Let's see if this one matches. Oh yeah, I think, you know what, I know I can see the ink on there, so I'm just gonna start over. That first one was kind of a test, so this will be a little bit darker. That's more the color I wanted. Okay, so your first run might have to be a test run. So I'm going to do it again. And rather than doing the same, I'm actually going to flip it over just to have a little bit. So it's, there's no water waves that look exactly the same. And there we go. So I have a little bit of in between of the white. So I'm actually just going to go back and do one more light one, just to kind of cover up some of that white. So there's my, so you can kind of see a little bit. If you dissect the card, you can kind of see the two there, and I just went back with light. So they're all a little bit different. So that's how I got a lighter color on a stamp. I will definitely be using that technique again. I liked it, so I'm happy I came up with it. I'm sure someone else did too, but to me, I came up with it. Okay, so now we are going to stamp our boat. Oh, it's right on this side. All right, so we did this at club the other day, and we noticed, let's see, let me find my mistakes. That, oh, these were, here we go. I have lots of mistakes to show you. When we stamped it with a big block, because it's a big stamp with a lot of negative space, a couple of us were getting, when we were inking it, in the corner of our block, I don't have a D-size block up here, was just getting it. So what we decided was to use our Stamparatus. You could certainly do it with a block, but I'll just show you something else. So I'm going to put my paper here. I want my sailboat to go, I want to see a little water behind it right there. And this is why I have my, I have washi tape down there, so I always kind of know where my paper was. So I'm using soft suede. And even though you can kind of see I got ink, and that's what kind of happened with our blocks, the Stamparatus, it doesn't transfer. So there you go. So that's why I decided to use a Stamparatus. For one little stamp. Okay, so now we have, I think it pulls this card together is this shadow of the sails underneath, because otherwise the boat's just in the water, but I really think that pulls it together. So that is in the same stamp set. I'm doing that with Night of Navy, and I'm doing that full strength. Oh. Well, that's all right. Because of the camera, I didn't want to get my head in their way. I should have had it a little bit closer, but that's fine. I'm not going to redo it because that will look funny. But these ones were really connected, and I liked that. Okay, so the sail. So I could stamp the sail directly on the paper, but I kind of like them puffed up. So let me show you. There's two ways to do that. I told you this card is full of technique. So here's the Builder Punch, right? You get 3 pieces in there. And so I could stamp a sail and then, put it in here and cut it out. I get some wasted paper, and that happens sometimes with the Builder Punches. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is I really actually need the sails. I don't need the boat. I could punch them out and then stamp directly on them. And so I'll do that, but I'm going to show you another way of doing it too. You could create a template. I just did of scrap paper. I punched that out, and so I have here. And so then you could use your template. I'm just going to line it up and make sure that, that this is the same as the top, so you're doing it in the right spot. Hopefully, because of the camera, I don't always want to put my head in the way, but that I align it up correctly. So this is the bigger stamp that would go here. So I'm using real red. going to stamp it in there. And then I'm going to stamp this one. This is the smaller sail. In here. And then when I take that off and I put them in here, they should, and they do, line up. So that's one trick with the Builder Punches. Just create a template and just use it over and over again. Okay, or like I said, I could, let's see. It's good to do it when you have a colored, you not have a white background. So you can see it a little bit better. See, that one's a little crooked. If I were to do it this way, I would have like a piece of contrasting paper behind it so I could see. So anyways, you have two choices of doing it that way. The builder with the little template, which those are the ones I'm going to use, or punching and then stamping. All right. So I'm going to use those to get my pieces together. Oh, I have to show you. Oh, I'm going to show you other mistakes too. Close my red so I don't get it everywhere, because that tends to happen. Check my fingers before I pick up my paper. Okay. So now we're going to do, before I put the sails on, I want to do this blue background. So I decided to use Tahitian Tide as my blue for my sky. And I'm going to use the blending brush. So there is a little trick with the blending brush. So you see I have kind of these daubs. I don't like those. And so I have discovered, I'm just kind of rubbing my blender brush in my ink softly. If you start off your paper, see the blob, you get the blob out of the way, and then you come down. Well, I even got a little blob there, but it's not as bad. And you're going to have to go back a couple times to re-ink it. Start off the paper, come on down, and you get a feel to like how hard or how soft you want to hold your brush, and then you can press it light or dark in there. So it depends on how much sky you want. I think that's going to be good. I don't want to overdo it. Some of that will actually get hidden by the frame. And by having some white in there, it kind of looks like clouds. At least to me, it kind of looks like there's some clouds in the sky. All right, so we're going to stamp our words. I think I'll do the one that I haven't done, so I have all three to show you. Hope it's your best day ever. And I do not have a block, so I'm actually going to use a Stamparatus again. I thought my table was going to be clean. These are great for Stamparatus. The chamois, the simple chamois, because you just kind of clean it off. And there you go. Clean off your fingers while you're at it. Okay, so I'm going to put my paper here. Oh, actually, you know what? We're going to do it with we'll do it with the birds too. So for now, I'll just put a magnet on my paper. I want my words to go, say, right there. So I will put my plate on. I'm going to do it in Night of Navy. Perfect. And then the cool thing about this is I'm going to turn this around. I'll clean it, but I'm going to use the other side. And now I'm going to decide where I want my, let's see, the sail's going to go there, where I want my seagulls to go. I think I'm going to have them go right. Where do I want them? Oh, I should have decided before. Where are they? They're over there on those ones. So if those are going there, I think I'll have my seagulls go right there. And I'm using Smoky Slate. Perfect. Okay, so wash that off quickly so I don't put it down with ink on it. So for the Stamparatus, it comes with 2 plates, so it's almost like you can use them here, you can use them here. So you're getting like 4 sides automatically before you even wash anything off. Okay, so now we can kind of put this together. So I have my base. I'm going to use this side, eyeball kind of the middle. Right, that shows that there's 2 sides of paper, and no one will ever know. All right, so I'm going to eyeball so it's kind of centered. And my frame, I want to oh, okay, good to know. I'm just gonna make it. All right, well, I have a little white under the, I'm just gonna leave that there. I realized I should have actually pushed that over. I wasn't thinking about the frame, but I think I'm just gonna make it because this is gonna go right to the edge. Oh, darn it. Okay, and I already have that glued on there. I'm going to use mini dimensionals. These are left over from a paper pumpkin kit, because I always give you more dimensionals than you need. And if you don't have mini ones, I'll show you, just cut up the regular size ones. There we go. These are the regular ones, so a lot of times will just cut the edges into little pieces. So this card is almost done, and it can really, what I love about it is it can be for so many occasions. It certainly has a masculine feel, but it doesn't have to be masculine. It has, a nautical feel, and there's lots of people who like nautical cards. All right, I'm just gonna scoot that over so I can see the B. I was just trying to keep this blue border as close as possible to being even. I could even trim it. I'll worry about that later. Okay, so now I'm just going to use dimensionals for my sails. Is that the right one? That's not the right one. I knew I did a better job. All right, so that's going to go about there. That's the right one. And that's going to go there. All right. Nice. Okay, so let me line them up so you can see all 3 sayings together. They're all slightly different, right? Because the oceans look a little different, but they're similar enough. So it's a fun card. So to me, it looks kind of, it looks like a basic card at first, but it really isn't. It has a lot of techniques in there. So hopefully you could take some of those techniques and even apply them to other cards that you make. I appreciate you watching. This turned out to be a longer video than I anticipated, so thanks for sticking with me. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please press subscribe so you get alerted to whenever I post a video, which I do about every week. And be sure you are on my mailing list too, so you get my weekly emails, and you can do that at mailsomethingpretty.com/sign up, or just visit my blog, mailsomethingpretty.com, and there is a box on the sidebar, so you can do that. So I really appreciate you watching. Thank you. I hope you like the card. Let me know. And I look forward to using this set in so many other ways. I've seen tons of people using it with sunrise, sunset, and I'm excited to explore it. This is like my first card I've done with it. So have a wonderful day and happy creating. Bye-bye.